was a press release that the ownership put out a couple of weeks ago saying after McAdoo lost another game in a row, this is before they beat the Chiefs to end their losing streak, that they weren't going to spend time in real time figuring out who's going to be the coach next year. They're going to leave that to the end of the season. No talk about it, which sounded like the Giants organization to me. And then yesterday happened. And the Giants are allowing Ben McAdoo to script the end of Eli Manning's stay with the Giants. And I am knocked over by a feather with that one. I cannot fathom at all why they would do that. But let's just place that aside for a second. Because we then just find out that they aren't turning to Davis Webb. As a matter of fact, they're turning the reins over to Geno Smith. And as a matter of fact, they're not just benching Eli and turning the reins over to Geno Smith and eventually Davis Webb. The plan was originally placed before Eli Manning, hey, we know that the streak that you've got going for starts is so important. We'll let you start these games, but we're not going to let you finish them because we need to see what's going on in the depth chart outside of you for next year. So they half measured it and then half-assed it. Because you're turning to Eli Manning, who is as professional as they come, who is as great a citizen as they come in the NFL, two-time Walter Payton Man of the Year award winner, guy who, when Ben McAdoo was saying all sorts of silly stuff about his career and what Eli was doing on the field, never pointed a finger back in the direction of the coach, who everybody in town thinks is a total buffoon and has Ray Handley written all over him. Never once did he throw anybody in that front office of the coaching staff under the bus. You're going to go to that guy, to Eli Manning, and say to him, we're going to make sure your start streak stays intact, but you're not really the leader of this team anymore. Or we don't know when we're going to take you out. Or we think that you're going to go for this. And Eli Manning, of course, looked them in the eye, no doubt, and said, forget it. I'm the starter. I'm the quarterback. Why would you, Giants, treat the final 5 games of this season like it's the preseason, where there's a couple of series for your starter and you take them out and you see what else is going on? Raiders aren't treating week 13 like the preseason. The Cowboys, when they come into your building with their season on line, not treating it like the preseason. The Eagles won't treat it like the preseason. The Redskins won't treat it like the preseason. And I know you need to see what you've got in your other quarterback, then start him. And look Eli Manning in the eye and say, this is what we got to do. And ownership sits him down and says, let's figure out how to make this right for you down the road. But they didn't. They sent Ben McAdoo out in front of the microphones, which is chum in the New York City media water, and had him go out there and explain it like it was the best thing to do for the team now to win this week. And say it's not the kid. It's Geno Smith. As if everybody in New York City and the metropolitan area, from Groton and Greenwich to Manhattan and Staten Island to Elizabeth, New Jersey and Manalapan, didn't see that Broadway flop wearing green. Didn't see him struggle trying to save Rex Ryan's job, coming up with perfect passer rating games and meaningless contests at the end of seasons just to save Rex Ryan's job and make it worse. To get hit by a teammate, break his jaw, lose his starting job. Ryan Fitzpatrick running the offense better until he didn't. Then he got a shot, blew out his knee. I feel for him being thrown behind this offensive line with no running game and an organization that's scapegoating quarterbacks now. That's the situation you're going to throw Geno Smith in. Holy crap. You've got to be kidding me. Now, let's just take a beat here, because no NFL divorce between franchise great and franchise was messier than Green Bay and Brett Favre. There was no messier divorce than that. I mean, is Eli going to go start for the Redskins, the Eagles, the Cowboys? Because that's what the equivalent would be, and come back and beat them. That's not happening. And that's as ugly a divorce as has ever been. And Favre and the Packers currently are living happily ever after. And hopefully that will happen for the Giants and Eli Manning at some point. Humpty Dumpty will at some point get put back together. And that I do believe Mara and Tish are going to take care of. But they should pull a Tennessee right now and say, Ben and Jerry Reese, no. I know we made this decision maybe together. Sorry. Pull a Tennessee, Giants. Tell this coach that ain't happening. Tell that general manager, cut it out. Or start Davis Webb, all due respect to Geno Smith. Even though I come on here and you say you never know. Is Geno Smith going to go on a Kurt Warner-like run? Who the hell knows? That's what the Giants should do right now. No, we are not doing this. We saw what this whole thing played out wrong. Not the way that we intended it to play out. Then you answer all the questions. Well, how did you intend it to play out? Got to put Humpty Dumpty back together again now. I don't think it's going to happen. But to say that Eli Manning doesn't get to decide how he leaves, and that is true. It's coming for you, too, with Brady in New England. Comes for everybody. No, I mean, how often do they stroll off like Elway? They don't. They don't. Sometimes they're taken off on a stretcher, a cart. That's the way these things end. But for the Giants to have it end, and it's ending. I don't know how how does Eli get back in the starter's chair next year with a new coach and a new general manager and a new streak? How does that happen? That one, I don't know how that Humpty Dumpty gets put back together again there. But to let Ben McAdoo stroll in front of the microphones and say, we're going with the Jets' old quarterback. If you had told a Jet fan or told a Giant fan when Geno got drafted in the second round, Geno got thrown into the mix, Geno got taken out of the mix, Geno got Rex in the hot seat, Geno took Rex out of the hot seat, Geno got Rex in the hot seat again, Geno took Rex out of the hot seat one more time before he got back in there, and then his jaw was rearranged, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick got in there, and then he got in there because Fitzpatrick sure wasn't the answer, and then he got injured and out of there. If you had told a Giant at any point during that point of line that this would be the guy that would take over for Eli Manning under these circumstances, you told a Giant fan that, they would have asked you, what the hell are you smoking?
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.